Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm the Mellow Mama, and today I'll be talking all about my tips for single mamas and really single daddies and single people. Just in general, even if you're in a committed mega love relationship, I think you might be able to find some value in this video. If you're new here, welcome. What's up? I'm Kate and I talk all things conscious living and conscious, respectful parenting, in particular with the help of lots of really great books I love to read and also reference a ton of other kinds of good resources and share them with you along with my personal experience as a mom and what's helped me, and that's what I'll be referring to today. All the tips that I'm mentioning today have helped me on a very deep, real, personal level, and that's why when somebody recommended doing this video, I was like, you know what? Heck yeah, I've totally got to cover this, especially for all of the women and men that are in a similar circumstance to me. Is that the way to put that? I don't know. So here we go. My number one tip would be to avoid dating. I know it's probably tempting, especially if you've been in a really toxic relationship or an unhealthy relationship where you felt very unloved and very underappreciated, and maybe you were even, it was just horrible, and you're craving that sort of, you just are craving maybe affection or validation or attention of any kind. Maybe you're just wanting to relate to another person and feel that same sort of spark or connection. Maybe you just think dating is really fun. Maybe you haven't had sex in a while. I don't know what it could be, but there are lots of reasons why it's tempting to get on whatever app or get out and start socializing and meet somebody. But I highly recommend that you don't do that. Spend some time with you. And it sounds so funny. It's like super cheesy thing to say, but there is a reason that people get a little bit weary when you jump from one relationship into the other one super fast. It's because it's just not healthy. When you've connected to somebody in a very deep way, especially if you've had a child with them or multiple children, and who knows how long you've been with this person, what you've shared with them, what you've invested together, and what you've been left with now that it's over, you need time to heal, to process what this shift is going to mean for you, what phase of life you're now going to be in, and what kind of chapter you're entering into. If you immediately start dating somebody else, not only are you not able to really even fully digest this transition, but you're also now going to spill all of the baggage that you probably have onto another person, and it's really going to be difficult to actually be in a healthy relationship with this new individual that probably is sincerely nice or interested in you for whatever reason, but they're not going to give the best version of you. And that's what you want for any relationship, obviously, and that's what any really healthy relationship needs, in my opinion, to thrive. It needs two people that are healthy by themselves. They're doing great, A-okay, without the other person. They are fulfilled, they are sustained without being in a relationship, and they just enjoy the company, the presence, and the connection to the other person. A non-dependent, very healthy, I just love ya, I love being around you, and we make each other grow kind of way. Not to mention, after separation, like I said, there are so many changes, I know personally, that occur. Depending on what it is that you've been through or not been through or what you're going through, you're going to need some time to heal mentally. And in my case, I also had to heal my life in a very physical way. I didn't have any money, I didn't have a car, a place to live, I didn't have savings, nothing. I had to start from scratch. So if you were to just start focusing your time and energy on getting romantically involved with another person, it leaves little time for all of the very necessary healing that needs to take place. In order to heal, your financial situation and in general, like all of your actual physical needs, your survival needs, you have to invest time and energy there. And any time that you spend with another person or thinking about another person or talking to them on the phone or texting them or doing whatever, going out, you're not investing that time and energy on healing your life and healing yourself. And I think that, like I said, more than anything, that both parties are going to be better off if you do take that time. Of course you can date again, of course you can see somebody eventually, but it's just, I think, very crucial to take that time, as long as it takes, to really feel like you're completely independent, you've healed mentally, or at least you're making a conscious effort every day to heal whatever trauma you might have experienced or whatever pain that you're probably inevitably feeling. And this sort of ties into that independence, but also to find yourself. Once again, I know this might sound a little cliche, but it's so important to know who you are before you allow another person into your space, your life, into you, who you are. You want to be sharing the best version of you that you've cultivated and developed over time. And a lot of people aren't quite there yet, even if they haven't just recently separated. Maybe they don't know quite who they are, but they're just looking for another person for so many reasons. I think it's a huge thing, especially for young people. I'm a young person, I'm 25 years old, and I see it nonstop with people that are my age and especially younger, that they're looking for somebody to be with and they don't want to be alone. But I find so much value in being alone, in truly evaluating myself. What areas do I want to grow in? What do I want to change? What qualities do I have that I truly love about myself that I could probably even improve on or expand from in a way? There are so many skills that I have that I've been able to hone in this time of just being me and my son, that I probably wouldn't have tapped into had I continued to be in my relationship, and in general, if I definitely not if I had jumped into another relationship after separating from Ben. Along with all of those great reasons to not start a new relationship, your child is now involved if you are a single parent like I am. Everybody's circumstance is a little bit different, of course. Mine is extreme because my son's dad lives on the opposite side of the country. He's in Los Angeles, I'm in Ohio. And that is a huge transition for my son to understand and to sort of process. In fact, I don't think he's quite processed it. It's hard for him. And I'm very, very sensitive about that. And I feel like introducing him to a new person or several new people, it depends on, I don't know what kind of dating life you might be anticipating having or that you're experiencing. I think it would be very, very overwhelming for your child who's already experiencing so much. There's a lot of tension that they must be experiencing when it comes to a big change, especially in my case where there was a big move and different people and places, and the absence of somebody that was, until this point, always around and a huge part of his life and what he was accustomed to. So not dating right away and just taking this time for you and for your child is going to benefit both you and your child. There's no harm done by not dating. You might feel a little bit lonely, you might feel a little bit isolated, you might, like I said, need any of those forms of connection that I touched on, but it's gonna be okay. This is a healing time. And when you adopt that perspective, I've personally found that you kind of never want to go back. At least that's my experience. I feel like, wow, I love being alone. I love the freedom that it brings. I love the ability to kind of just work on whatever I need to work on, focus on myself, do my thing, take good care of my son, build a beautiful relationship with him, and that's it. I don't have to worry about, the needs of one other person. But if it's been a while and you've got that all down, you're like, well, my life is feeling really good. It's very enriched. I feel very fulfilled. My relationship with my child is so wonderful, and our lives are abundant. I've healed mentally, like I don't have pain anymore harboring inside of me. I really want to meet somebody. That also needs some assessment. You do need to sit down and really contemplate that. And I know a lot of people will be like, well, Kate, like, what if I just bump into the love of my life at the grocery store? I can't control that. And of course, there are so many circumstances where timing is just funny, and it's not necessarily the best time to meet this person, but they come into your life, and there are always exceptions. But I would not recommend to seek out a new partner. That's my point. My second tip is to become financially smart. learn how to invest, learn how to save your money. There are so many courses online today. You can just go on Instagram, type in, e-commerce, or type in real estate, or type in, financial freedom, whatever, passive income, residual income, and you're going to find somebody talking about that, or giving advice or free information on those subjects. And obviously my number one suggestion to everybody is to read more. And if you hit up any library, you can find a book on any of those subjects. Move yourself from this sort of consumerist mindset where you're constantly buying and shopping mindlessly and you're not saving and investing mindfully. I think is extremely important, especially if it's just you providing for you and your child or your children. Be wise about money. Start getting smart about money. Learn how to use the money that you have, how to make more money in a passive way. There are a plethora of online resources, especially whether it's YouTube videos and channels specifically for this purpose, like Grant Cardone and Ty Lopez. These people are actually pretty great at helping people figure out financial freedom, time freedom, residual income, all those kinds of things, and they have great courses available. Yes, you'll have to invest in those kinds of things, but I think it's worth it to put your money into making more money. It makes sense to me. So I recommend doing that, like I said, especially if you're a single parent or a single person and you're just like, let's do this. Like, I don't want to be dependent on another person ever again. That's how I feel. Boom. Third tip is to ask for help. I talk about this in a lot of my videos because I find that personally as a mom, it's one of the hardest things about being a mom. I hate asking for help. I hate being vulnerable and saying, hey, I need 2 hours today. My parents live about 15 minutes away from me now, which is a big difference. The first year of Donovan's life, it was just me and Ben. His mom lived nearby, but I never asked her for help. I just had a very, very hard time putting myself in that position because I felt like, no, I have to do it all. I have to accomplish everything on my own. I can do this. And I did it. I did do it. I'm not going to lie. I did everything that I wanted to do for the most part, but I could have done it in such an effective way. I could have felt so much more peace of mind. I could have had so much more clarity as far as what my actual goals were and what plan of attack I could really take had I just simply said, hey, 1 day a week, would you help me for 2 hours or 3 hours or however long by taking Donovan to the park or taking him to this museum or whatever? I think that would have been really, really powerful and a big contribution to some serious progress in all the projects that I had going on, and my YouTube channel being one of them. Had I asked for help, I would have been posting a lot more frequently, consistently, and probably more valuable content. I would have had more time to research and read and really dive into the material that I share on here. So ask for help. Even if you've only got a little bit of money to spare and you're like, man, should I get, a mother's helper to hang out with you while you maybe work or read or do whatever in your own household? Do it. You'll notice that the investment is definitely worth it and that your child benefits from it too. A healthy, happy, balanced parent, it will provide a much, much better environment for their child, in my opinion. Get good at time management. I always recommend the book Managing Oneself by Peter F. Drucker. It's something that truly changed my life in a lot of ways. It's a very small, quick read. However, it does a good job of helping you assess your bad habits and your good habits, your strengths and your weaknesses, and how to kind of build upon that foundation of information. So for me personally, I know that I had a hard time with follow through and procrastination. I highly recommend to do exactly what I do, which is just to assess how do I work best, what habits do I need to improve on, or what habits do I need to break, and follow through with that. If follow through or procrastination are two of your hardest things to break, I'll give you another one of my, this is a side tip to branch off onto this tip. I love to literally set timers for everything that I have to do. I use the app Minimalist. You don't have to have that app. I think it's free, but regardless, all I do is write exactly the task and I set the timer so that I have nothing else on my brain. I'm not going to get sidetracked or start working on something else in the middle of doing this task. I have to finish the task before the timer is done, or at least just bring awareness to that one task at hand. I really get a lot of things done that way, and I'm very productive when I do that. I want you to push yourself. I already mentioned that when Ben and I separated, I really was left with nothing. Ben and I were not married. I had to move, and I didn't have any other option to stay in Los Angeles, which I consider my home to this day. So I was left to live in my parents' house with no car, no job, no money, and our son. I had for a second started making excuses as to why I couldn't work hard or I couldn't get all the things done that I wanted to get done. There's absolutely no way that I would have my car, be able to be financially independent, to provide for me and my son, have our beautiful apartment that we're so grateful for. I'm grateful beyond belief for. I'm like getting emotional just talking about it because it's so powerful to have this mindset. I decided to look at my circumstance as a big growth opportunity. I was like, okay, what can I get done? Sorry, what can I get done and how fast can I do it? And I know that the healing process is different for everybody, no matter what your situation is. I went through some horrible things, and I think I healed so much more quickly because of how productive I became. And a lot of people will tell you to keep busy. I'm not telling you to keep busy. I'm not telling you to stop bringing awareness to how you feel and why, but I want you to push yourself. I talk all the time about self-help books and parenting books. My most favorite category of books to read is probably biographies and autobiographies. I love to literally learn firsthand from successful people, looking at what they did in their life, looking at the choices that they made or the patterns that each of them share. And one of the things that they all share, if you read a book about Oprah Winfrey or Michael Jordan or Jeff Bezos or Sam Walton, whoever it is, they all share the fact that they pushed it super hard. Steve Jobs, I mean, these people didn't sleep for several years while they were getting their companies going or getting things off the ground and getting things moving and going and accomplishing their goals. They don't care to make excuses because they want to make progress. And that's exactly what I advise to any person going into a difficult transition or going through a difficult time. Just focus on the progress. Focus on moving forward and don't make excuses for yourself. Don't say things like, oh, I'm just so busy, I'm so exhausted. It's a phase. You have to start somewhere and you have to start sometime. You constantly make an excuse as to why now is not the time and that you're going to start later. You will never ever start. There are always going to be obstacles. You're always going to have a new excuse no matter what phase of life you're in. So right now is the time, especially if you take my advice and stay alone, stay single, to focus on what you want and how you're going to get it and make a plan of attack. Just go for it. My next tip goes hand in hand with that one of not making excuses. I prefer to look at this transition as a growth opportunity and to refrain from getting into the mentality that you are a victim. This has been the best period of my life in terms of rapid growth, extreme healing from the inside out. I made so many realizations about myself, about relationships, about the relationship that I had with my family, with my son, with life. I've made strides financially, from a business perspective, from a creative perspective. Imagine the difference in the last 7 months of my life if I decided to focus on how horrible the last couple of years were for me. Get into that mentality, it becomes so toxic and draining and it pulls you down and down and down, and it's so much harder to heal, to recover from that, to look forward to what's next, to what you can build and become. Get out of the I'm a victim mentality and get into the I'm a warrior, I'm gonna do this mentality. Talked about being productive, and a lot of people will tell someone to keep busy, and I wanted to make it a point right now to say that that is not healthy in my opinion. I'm not telling you to just get distracted if you are in pain, if you are truly having a hard time with the healing process, which is completely normal. If that's the case, this productivity is not meant to distract you from that pain in any way. It's just meant to help you realize that you're gonna be fine, that you're coming out of it stronger than before, that you're coming out of it more educated and you're more fulfilled than you ever were, and not I'm just going to bury the pain with random activities and tasks. It's a very, very different concept, and I I hate that advice so much, and I was given it often. Oh, you just gotta keep busy. What can you do? No, you don't just keep busy. I truly think that that implies to just ignore how you're feeling until it goes away. Your mental health is not going to just cure itself and become sparkly by distracting yourself from the actual feelings that you're experiencing. That's the opposite of consciousness, and that's what I want to work against. I want to get away from that way of thinking and more into, okay, let's address how I'm feeling. Let's experience it. Let's really get into why this is happening, and let's also at the same time move forward. My next tip is crucial. Never speak badly about your old partner, especially if you're co-parenting in any capacity. Just keep it to yourself. Talk to somebody that's a professional, a therapist. I don't even recommend sharing with friends the negative feelings or the resentment that you might have for your old partner, because it's difficult. First of all, it's so toxic in general to talk negatively about anybody. It does nothing for you and all the goals that we talked about and the productivity that you need to be getting on. It has nothing to do with the ideas that you have to move forward, the things that you want to do and create and become. It has nothing to do with how wonderful it is to be a parent, the joy and the privilege it is to raise a human being, and it's not going to do any service to them, your child. Getting into a negative conversation about your ex is so toxic, and it very quickly can become the opposite of therapeutic. You might think that venting and getting your feelings out there to a friend or to a family member is going to make you feel better, like somebody understands your situation and they're on your side. But in actuality, it's just going to remind you of a lot of bad things that you might have experienced or felt, or it's going to drive up that ego. All of your insecurities are kind of coming back to the surface, which in a way is healthy if you acknowledge them. But a lot of the time, the reason that you are talking badly about the other person is to serve your ego and to be like, to make yourself feel better. Like, this didn't happen because of me. It's not my fault. I didn't do anything wrong. It's them. Look how bad they were. Look at this that they did. Look at that they said. And you just get into this very, very negative, unhealthy headspace. Not only doing a disservice to yourself by doing that, but you're also doing a disservice to the other person. You know, that's just a horrible exchange. I don't know many people that want to get in a conversation like this that's so heavy and rooted in pain, and it feels miserable. And I've been there. It affects the way now that Ben and I have healed our relationship, and in terms of being parents together, it makes it very difficult for my family to interact with Ben. And in the future, that could affect the relationship that my son has with Ben, because he might hear something that my parents say or that my brothers say and take it very personally and maybe be confused by it or hurt by it, because we're fostering a loving relationship between him and his dad. And in general, it just needs to be peaceful. There's no time for that. Like I said, it doesn't do a service to you or your goals or the ideas that you have, what you want to be, do, create. So you don't have time for it. To mention that if somebody was hurting you in any capacity and a relationship was just not healthy in any way, there's a very, very good chance that the person that you're in a relationship with is not okay. They themselves harbor so much pain. Maybe they have a lot of trauma that they are just going through life with unhealed. Very fine line. You can become very, very compassionate for this individual and understand, and still not allow them to come into your space in an unsafe way, if that makes sense. I empathize so much for people that hurt others in any capacity. No healthy, happy person does that. So talking negatively about them doesn't help the situation. That isn't helping them heal or get better. And if you are a parent with this person, that should be the goal. You want that person to be okay, to feel better, and that way they can be a good example and create a loving, beautiful connection and relationship to your child. Prioritize your child and the relationship that you're building with your child. I know personally that the thought of another woman coming into my son's life, especially if she is going to develop the mindset that she is a mom to my son, wow, oh my gosh, I am so triggered by that. so painful for me. I think for a lot of parents, this is where things might go from peaceful, we're doing great, we're talking, things are awesome, to the complete opposite of that. And it makes sense as to why it's a very, very delicate boundary, the relationship that you have with your child. So when you focus on just fostering a beautiful relationship with your child, it takes all of the stress away from a situation like that. In the case that, let's say Ben, my son's dad, decides that he's madly in love with someone and wants to introduce her to my son, if I've prioritized Donovan and focused on him, his needs, and our relationship, I shouldn't feel insecure, because what we fostered is beautiful. I trust that we are always going to be connected, and that he's always going to be able to communicate how he's feeling and how he's interpreting the situation to me, especially as he's getting older. And it also allows me to be open-minded. And this is the craziest part. I never thought that I could be open-minded about this. The first time I ever thought about somebody else being in Donovan's life, like a woman maybe hugging him and kind of getting it in her mind, the impression that she's now his kind of second mama or something. Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm like, you know what? It can't be bad for my son to have more love in his life. Like one more person to just love him so much. It's never going to take away from the relationship that I have with him. It's never going to change what I've built with him. It will never take away the fact that I am his mom and that he's mine, and that we love each other so deeply and so intensely. For him to be loved by another person is almost just a gift. The only way that I could have possibly cultivated that mindset and perspective, which once again, we haven't crossed that bridge. Maybe I'm just being really optimistic and I'm gonna be out of my mind like crazy when that day comes, but if that happens, who knows? I think that the only way that I could have possibly developed this perspective, though, that it's actually potentially a really great thing for Donovan to have one more person to love him in his life, is because I just prioritize the relationship that I have with him. And I make sure that I'm doing the best that I can, expressing my love for him and creating a respectful, gentle connection to him. So prioritize that. Bring all of your awareness to your son or daughter or your children. For me personally, it becomes more difficult to have any tension with the other partner up early. I wake up, like I said, at 5:30 a.m. every single day intentionally so that I can get a lot of things done before my son's awake. For the first 10 minutes of my day, I do a little bit of a yoga flow and stretch. I obviously brush my teeth and throw some water on my face, but then I do a 20-minute meditation or prayer, whatever you want to call it, followed by journaling, preparing our breakfast, and Donovan's clothes for the day. Sometimes I also get a little bit of reading in. In general, I just use this time for whatever I really need that's not work-related. That's just related to how I'm feeling and what makes me set a clear, positive intention and tone for the rest of my day. Exercise and eat right. A lot of people have a hard time with properly nourishing themselves just because there are so many things thrown at us in regard to food and body image and you name it, all of these different fad diets that exist. But really try to get back to eating real food, non-processed food. Get rid of all of these bad toxic allergens and focus on nourishing yourself with healthy food, plants, okay? Fruits and vegetables. Poor diet leads to so many other problems. I mean, a lot of people are unaware of the effect that their gut health has on their overall health and mental health, but it's huge. So educate yourself on how you should be nourishing your body and really take the necessary steps to do that. Make that a priority, because when you treat yourself with respect, your body, and you nourish it well, you're going to feel better in all regards. You're going to be able to handle this situation a little bit easier. The healthier diet and cleaner gut, you might experience less anxiety, have a clearer mind and way of thinking. In general, it's just going to affect you on every possible level, which is obviously going to help you be a better parent and accomplish all the stuff that you want to get accomplished. Don't stop at healthy nutrition. Also exercise. Science has proven over and over again that exercise improves our lives in so many ways. So just incorporate even a little bit of exercise as much as you can into your days. My last tip is to give yourself a hug. Acknowledge the fact that you're doing a good job. I'm the type of person that forgets to do this. That's one of the main reasons that I constantly talk about conscious living. I'm always trying to bring myself back to the present moment, to center myself and do exactly what I'm telling you to do right now. Give yourself some encouragement. Acknowledge all of the things that you're good at, all of the things that are going well for you, even if they're so small. A little bit of growth is so powerful for you, your mindset, and the continued success that you're going to have. Write some affirmations, even if it's just, you are doing a good job, which I'm saying that to you right now. If you're watching this, oh man, I'm like such an emotional person, and it's getting dark now. I'm talking to you, whoever you are watching this. If you are a single parent, gosh, and you've been through some stuff, you know, and you feel like, wow, I can't do this, or I'm scared, or you feel alone, I want you to know that you can do it, that I am a living example of the fact that you can do it. You are gonna do amazing things, and I'm crying because I feel the truth, like I feel that in my heart, that every person can move forward in their life. Every single person has something amazing to share inside of them, and I'm so passionate about helping people get to the root of that, of what makes them fulfilled, what gets them going, what light they have to give to other people around them. So I mean it from the bottom of my heart. If you're watching this and you're feeling like that, if you're feeling defeated in any way, I want you to know that you're doing a good job. I believe that really anything is possible, that you can do it. Whatever is on your mind that you want to accomplish, even if it's just, I want to survive through the day without getting upset or feeling frustrated or feeling defeated, you can do it. You can do it. And even further, if you are somebody that thinks that this might be in the cards for you, you might become a single parent. I can't even talk about that without, I'm telling you guys, I've said it once, I'll say it a billion times, I am such a empathetic person. It's like my biggest weakness. My last name is Sap. Like, come on. But I know exactly what it feels like to question, how did I get in this situation? How am I here? Am I to think that maybe you're not lovable, or you're not worth appreciating, or what you're doing is not enough, or you're not enough. I've felt that way, and I want you to know that you are worth loving, you are loved. I really want to emphasize that very thing. Just tell yourself that you're okay, that you're doing a good job, that you're moving forward, that you're making progress, and say it in a way like it's happening now. It's already happened. You've already become successful, that you've already done it. You've already connected the dots to being this amazing, awesome individual that spreads light wherever you go and joy wherever you go, and you contribute to bringing fulfillment to more people's lives in whatever way that might look like for you, or whatever you want to do. It's happening right now. You are creating the best version of yourself as we speak. By watching this video, you're trying to learn more information about how to be better and how to feel better, I'm sure. So you are working on this right now. You, every second, are making progress. You're doing it. You're doing a good job. That's it for my video today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some value out of it. If you did, please give it a like, hit that little thumbs up button for me. If you haven't already, subscribed to my channel. I am the Mellow Mama on Instagram. If you want to check me out over there, I do a lot of like organic teaching moments when my son and I have any interaction that I feel is valuable to teach about. And my favorite thing of all, please leave me a comment below in the comment section talking about what has helped you in your journey as a single parent, or not in any way, like what's helped you in general in life to become a more productive, fulfilled person, or whatever it is that you want to share that's positive and loving. Please do so in the comments below, and I can't wait to read them and respond to them.